So I just finished watching Tangled Web, and when do I get my turn to manipulate Quick Strike? It seems like I should be due by now. Also known as the episode to weed out the arachnophobes in the viewing audience, this is basically a typical, casual Predacon day. They're not planning to destroy the Maximals. They aren't building some grand super weapon. They aren't trying to reach Cybertron, etc. No, 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 no. Just usual stuff. They're building a jamming station. They're building a fueling station. Pretty normal. It's more about Tarantulas scheming his way into attempting to get a new layer that Megatron has unknowingly picked out for him. The episode is very manipulation heavy. It's very Predacon heavy. The Maximals, they play a cursory role at best in this entire episode. The only time we get to see a little bit back at the base, and we only really get to see two Maximals out on the field, and that's really just for the fight scene. They're really not accomplishing anything in this episode. This is strictly Predacon business. So we start off, as said, Inferno and Waspinator are going to go off and build a jamming station, which does come up later. That is seeding something that is going to play into events in future episodes. While Megatron has located a cavern with a ton of stable energon cubes that he wants a fueling station at. So that is the task of Quick Strike, Tarantulas, and Black Arachnia, which I am amused that Megatron has split up all of his associates, all of his minions, into Insect Team and Arachnid Team. And it's this time that I realize everyone in the Predacons is now a bug except for Megatron, with the only exception being approximately 25-ish% of Quick Strike being Snake. Beyond that, everyone else is bug except for Megatron. Yeah, I'm feeling a need. I feel like it feels like the Predacons are lacking in intimidating beast modes at this point in the series. I mean, if you're afraid of spiders, that's one thing, but I'm missing my this is where I kind of feel like we would have had a little bit more variety if Pterosaur had survived, which is probably the original intention. So we get a quick look that both sides are still trying to figure out the new transmetal forms. Tarantulas has been researching it. Rhinox is running tests on Primal to figure out the form. Neither one's having much luck. We're going to have to leave it up to just mysterious Vok technology for now. This is also an episode, I say this is like light on the Maximals, and it is, but it's where we finally get to see a little of Silverbolt's true persona, now that he's in a more comfortable role as one of the Maximals. We can see him actually tracking with his sense of smell, which we get to see Rat Trap do a little of too, which is kind of strange for him. We get to see that noble personality, we have been tasked with a mission, and it is my job to, fulfill my duties. And we hear the first heroic horns too, like his trademark horns. I want that to play every time I do a good deed. That's my goal in life. Just have it on my phone to play anytime I feel like I did good. And we also, during the fight scene of this episode, we also got to see him show mercy against Black Arachnia because he doesn't want to strike a female. This is the beginning of Silverbolt and Black Arachnia being a thing. Starts off simply enough. It's just he's got too much chivalry in him to actually strike a lady. I mean, in full equivalency of the war, it should be bad to strike anybody. But we're going with chivalry here, and nothing wrong with that. So Black Arachnia gets spared for most of the episode, unless you're Tarantulas. Tarantulas is actively torturing her the entire episode with a psychic link. And this is, like I said, this episode is very manipulation heavy. Tarantulas is manipulating Black Arachnia. He's also, to a lesser extent, manipulating Megatron. Black Arachnia is manipulating Quickstrike. We actually get to see her as the seductress femme fatale in this scenario. She hasn't gotten to play that role much. The only time she really did before was mostly just to tease Tarantulas. Nothing like a serious attempt at goading him. Of course, nothing that Tarantulas was ever interested in. Quickstrike? No. Quickstrike is absolutely down for this. He is absolutely down for getting hit on by Black Arachnia. And he is also down for betraying Megatron. Cool. That took him a whole 2 episodes. A whole 2 episodes before he decided to turn on his leader. I think that's a new record. Aside from... basically, Tarantulas promised him more people to punch. That was literally his entire basis for getting Quickstrike to team up with him. That team up is going to have ramifications going even into Season 3. But for now, it's just the beginning of something. It's just amusing. Quickstrike is so easily manipulated by literally everybody. Alright, so we do learn a few things. We do learn that Tarantulas' lab was wiped out in the Big Burn. We also learn the Tarantulas is a Bugs Bunny fan. At one time, he states, of course you realize this means war, which we've seen in some of the sight gags in the series. They were definitely paying homage to some classic Looney Tunes more often than I originally realized and remembered. I think more interesting than the actual fight scene of this episode, because the fight scene was just kind of a little bit standard. Everyone's in a rocky field and firing back and forth at each other kind of fight scene. I think the more interesting fight is between Black Arachnia and Tarantulas, because it is over that psychic link. Black Arachnia apparently had like a cube crushing device ready to go here, and she is using it to hold Tarantulas hostage. Turns out that when she's energon surging, Tarantulas can feel it too. So she starts crushing this cube to force him to break the psychic link. And this thing is going to detonate and wipe them both out. I mean, it's stabilized energon cube, but it's still energon. In the original cartoon, we saw what energon did when it blew up. She's willing to risk that because, as we're learning here, freedom is her most defining characteristic. What she wants more than anything is to not be controlled. And Tarantulas in her head, literally controlling her body, is the last thing she wants. And she's willing to offline herself if that's what it means to get rid of him. She would rather, if she cannot live free, she would rather die. She lives in New Hampshire, I think. So, I'm reading through my notes. Is there anything else? Megatron is particularly angry at the end of this episode, considering the only failure here was failing to set up a fueling station. I think it has to do with the fact that Waspinator completed his task. The jamming station went up fine. And the fact that Waspinator got to complete his task, but Tarantulas, a far more competent Predacon, did not, is definitely going to rile up Megatron a little bit more than usual. So that was amusing to me. And again, we have that one last manipulation by Tarantulas. He fakes the explosion at the cave because it's perfect as a layer for himself, both for the energon cache, but also its positioning and how well defended it is. He now has a brand new lab, which he's very quick to set up all of his equipment in, and we establish him as something of a secondary antagonist, even separate from the Predacons in general. There's a lot of establishment in this episode. There's a lot of things we're setting up, but overall, I'd call it a passable episode. There's nothing like tremendously strong here. There's a few loose ends to tie up, and then a few little threads to sprinkle out throughout the season, but this is more of a stopgap between major story points. Not a whole lot going on here, just setup, which is nothing wrong with that once in a while. That, my friends, is Tangled Web, and again, join me next time. We've got more episodes as we go through Season 2 of Beast Wars. Join me. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.